Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video we are going to be going over how you navigate through all of the conflicting advice online, basically. So obviously these days there is more information than ever. It's absolutely relentless on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere else. But what I find with that is you could look at that as a good thing. But actually, I'm not as sure because a lot of the advice out there, it's not the best advice. It's not relevant um, to like a specific person. A lot of it, I feel it's very generic and broad. Um, so yeah, a lot of people I work with, a lot of guys over 30 are totally overwhelmed with it. They get asked different questions every week from a reel or whatever, or what some wee guys said online, and they think that they should be jumping on it. So let's look at this. Let's look at these slides. So to begin with, the noise. People think, oh, do I need to cut carbs? Do I need to do the carnivore diet? Should I be fasting? Should I be training every day? Cold plunge pools, like these are just some examples, but you get the idea. There's just so much out there that you almost don't know what to do. It just becomes overwhelmed, you freeze up, it feels too much. So the problem, as I kind of mentioned or alluded to, is most advice lacks context. What works for some fitness influencer, professional bodybuilder, or a single guy in their 20s with tons of free time isn't necessarily going to work for you. And I'm presuming if you're watching this, you're going to be a busy guy in their 30s, 40s, in the middle of your career, running your business, and you're navigating all of that stress along with maybe having a family. So the key we want to do is not get decision fatigued or become overwhelmed with all of this stuff, all right? Because this is supposed to be a positive thing that we're doing. And the result is, confusion, overthinking, inconsistency, and constantly changing approach. So we're going to skip through the noise there, ignore that, and we're going to look at what actually matters. So I'm a great believer on focusing on the fundamentals. So let's skip the biohacking, extreme diet, supplement stacks for now. I'm not saying that some of these things aren't useful. Of course they are. I'm not against science or trying new things necessarily, but the sort of again the people that will be watching this that I work with, let's just focus on absolutely nailing the fundamentals first. For example, I'll have a client who will, I remember it was not that long ago, who asked me about creatine. So he's fairly new to training, how I'm training him, and he was asking about creatine. And my advice was, listen, creatine's good, but I wouldn't want you to take it right now because, you're already doing, we're still trying to nail down the absolute basics for you. Getting you training consistently on a very good diet, day to day, week to week, and we're not quite there with some of these fundamentals yet. So if we throw something like creatine or another supplement into the mix, I don't know if we'll get like the full benefit of it. And it's hard for me as a coach then to really identify what's going right or what's going wrong if we're basically taking the approach of just throwing shit at a wall, which is kind of how I look at a lot of these things. We really want to nail everything first. So by that I mean training 3 to 4 times per week consistently, progressive overload, and training consistently over intensity. Now we need to work hard. That's not what I'm saying with this. What I mean is, even when you're tired and you don't feel like it, you get in the gym and we get it done. Nutrition, calorie control, sticking to our calories, making sure we are getting in enough protein, sticking mostly to whole foods. So I'm a great believer in that, and consistency over 7 days. right? Consistency over 7 days. It's not rocket science. It is simple, but it's not easy. I appreciate that. It is not easy to do, to stick to these things. And when it comes to lifestyle, we have to try and prioritize sleep, stress management, daily movement, and build a routine. That's what we have to do. Okay. Now, how to filter fitness advice properly. So this is what I always ask myself if I'm ever even considering taking something new up, like thinking about getting back into golf or something like that. I always ask myself, does this fit my lifestyle? Can I realistically maintain it alongside work, family, social life, and all the stress that that brings? If I'm looking at myself in the mirror and the answer is no, then it's a non-starter, right? So if I have a client coming to me that has a specific fitness goal, like marathon running, which not often that happens, but let's say it is, the amount of time needed to train for something like that probably isn't going to be suitable. So I'm afraid that just needs to get put in the back burner. All right. Number 2, excuse me, is this sustainable long term? So I'm a great believer in building in routine and structure and habits we can actually sustain in our day-to-day reality. Don't get me wrong, I have clients that I've put through photo shoots, no doubt I'll do it again. I've had clients that have competed in bodybuilding contests, all this stuff. So we can have sprints, but if we look at the general makeup of our overall, fitness, nutrition and lifestyle, we have to look at it and go, is this actually the general, the nuts and bolts of this? Is it sustainable long term? Again, if you're doing something like a short-term sprint, like a photo shoot or something, okay, we know that's short term, but as soon as that's over, we fall back into our sustainable routine. And number 3, when you're taking on, or you're listening to a lot of this advice, is this solving my actual problem? So, in my experience, most men don't need more information. Now, obviously, we can always learn. A lot of my clients learn lots from me, obviously, about training, nutrition, everything else, how to structure things correctly. But the biggest thing that we have to focus on is execution. I've said this in a previous video that, we have to do the boring stuff consistently in order to achieve great results. And that's what most people aren't willing to do or don't want to do, or simply don't know how to do. So the coaching approach I have to filtering out a lot of the fitness advice that you see online is simply remove the noise, simplify everything, create a realistic structure, and focus on repeatable habits. I could write the most in-depth detailed training plan, give you a 6-meal diet plan counted to the gram, but what good is it if you can't actually stick to it? It's the same for me now. I have to focus on what is realistic for me and what can I stick to. So most men, you already know enough, but you're struggling to apply it consistently, okay? I'm hoping, obviously, with these videos that I am putting out there, that this will really help you to understand how to schedule things around work, family, and life. But the one thing the videos won't give you is accountability, and that's where someone like myself is worth their weight in gold, to be honest. You would be accountable to me if you were to be a client of mine or another coach's. And if they're good and they actually message you back. But these things do make the difference, especially short to medium term. Once you've got these really good habits ingrained into you, you're able to filter out the noise. You know what works for you. That's the big thing as well. We need to find out what works for you. Then, long term, you're on to a winner. So, again, thank you for watching. like and subscribe, please, and I shall see you in the next one.